Hey, Tom, Happy New Year. We're starting a new.
Same to you, brother. What a wild night I had, man. I was in bed like 10 o'clock, maybe 9.
Did you sleep through the ball drop?
Oh, yes. I don't think I watched the ball. I don't know if I ever watched the ball drop. I think I did with a kid. I watched it. But can you imagine going to Times Square, putting on an adult diaper because you can't go anywhere, standing in that crowd there, watching a ball drop?
Nope, never done it. Grew up here my whole life. Never, not even once did I ever go to Times Square for New Year's. And for years, my office was right. My office was in Times Square for years, and I never even just too much chaos. It's like you said, you got to get there 5 a.m. You can't leave.
Yeah.
You got to wear a friggin' Depends.
It's like millions of people go to.
It's insane. Who would do that?
I know. Like even walking through Times Square now, like I love the city, but Times Square is man, that's a dangerous place.
Well,
Homeless people, the drugs.
I don't know if it's that bad, but it is. It's just too many people. It's crazy. Like I said, I worked there every day, and like just going to lunch would take you much longer than if you worked somewhere else. Just to walk out of the office. Anyway, got any resolutions for 2024?
Nope. Don't believe in them. Don't do them. Don't do them. Don't believe in them. No.
Nothing.
No, it's silliness. People make these resolutions because it's like one day you're supposed to make a resolution. Just make a resolution every day that you're going to get better.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
True grid lifestyle. I don't make them either. I don't.
Silliness.
Never did. Yeah.
There's some great videos out there showing gyms the day after and January 1st, just packed with people right in the and they wear thin and everybody's gone.
That's how they make their mony. Everybody signs up for the year and then they go a couple times in January. They just never go again. I keep paying every month.
I know. How many times have you done that too? You sign up for something and you just forget to they only charge you like $5 a month and you forget to cancel it. Like I was on Survivor, if you know that or not. But
you was? Wow.
Yeah. So to go on, I didn't know about like all the shows, so I got a $5 subscription to CBS so you can watch all the shows from the past. And then just because it was only $5, I never bothered to cancel it. So like 4 years later, I haven't watched it, paying $5. Imagine how many people they do that with. It's just like they make it.
That's how they make their money in subscription-based businesses. Maybe we should do one of those.
That's right too. I have a subscription for the Full Change podcast.
You could hear Tom Laidlaw singing every day.
Yeah. Impressions, dancing,
all these multi-talented talents that you have. Yeah. But no New Year's resolutions, nothing new. You just gotta keep doing you, keep plowing through. You got a little bit of facial hair going on.
I'm getting lazy. I get shaved. I don't like it. I like it when it's shaved right down. I get the little electric razor, buzz it down.
As we are we're just finishing the holiday season. We did see you were Santa Claus at the Garden, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that was a fantastic event. The young boy, that's terrible. I forgot his name. He's got retinitis pigmentosa, I believe it is. And so he's like 10 years old now. They say by the time he's 20, he'll lose his vision entirely. Yeah, so he's part of the Garden of Dreams. I kind of asked you how they get to be part of the Garden of Dreams. I think must have to make some application. So the garden, and all on their own, didn't ask the family if they needed anything or all. Obviously, they knew they were in trouble, not trouble financially, but needed help financially. Yep. So they gave him Garden of Dreams, Masquerade Garden, and the arrangers gave him a check for $10,000. So they had me come out in the Santa suit and surprise the family. And I guess naively, I just didn't anticipate how emotional it was going to be.
Sure.
So when I walked out, they did not know anything was going on, and they were doing one of those games. We have to choose 1, 2, or 3,
right?
Different options. And so they announced Adam Graves gets on the screen, big screen at the Garden, announced that that he was there, what he's going through. And then they had me come out with the Santa suit on, and they were smiling, laughing, having fun. I'm really excited. So I'm showing the check to these crowds, like I'm supposed to be waving everybody a little bit. I turn around and look over, and the mother and father are crying.
Sure.
Oh my God! I had to pull it together because, man, it was so emotional. And again, I was naive and not understanding he was going to be that emotional. So they were pretty surprised. They did a great job at the Garden. This young girl, Allie Wergland, I think is her last name. We did a video. Stefan Matteau, myself, and Glenn Anderson, where we're trying out for the Blue Crew, and Allie put that whole thing together. So I call her Miss Creative. She's very
nice,
and she put the whole thing together. It was really an emotional event, and one of the most emotional things. It was short; it didn't take that long, but just the impact it had on the family.
Well, as a parent, anything anyone does for your kids that hits you right in the heart, just and you can't even put up a front. It hits you, and you get overwhelmed.
Exactly, that's what it was. Especially both the mother and father, but especially the mother, she just couldn't control herself.
Of course,
once it hit her, what's going on? She just was.
Did you keep the Santa suit on after that, or did you change?
No, I changed, sweating, because I had to get changed in one of the suites. So there's other people, so I couldn't take any of my clothes off. I just had to pull the suit over top of my suit pants and shirt and all that. So I'm sweating.
So you're like, excuse me, people who bought the suite, I'm just going to just get changed right
No,
now?
they actually had an open suite.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, our girl Jackie DiPiazza thought that was a good idea. I didn't realize, that most was sold, but there was one open suite. Sat in there, or had our own suite watching the game.
So you're at the game. People see you on the big screen now. You're probably the third most popular number 2 wearing Ranger defenseman in history, right?
That's probably true. I would like to say I'm the most popular, but that's not
No,
correct.
definitely not. Well, probably Brian Leach and then Brad Park and then probably Tom Laidlaw. So now people see you at the game. Are they like, hey, Tom Laidlaw, come here. Let's take a picture. Let's.
Yeah. It's funny because some people, they won't recognize it because, again, when I played, I had the long hair, the mullet,
Right.
But I'm walking around bald head now. But a lot of people know. And once one person recognizes me and says something, then it was, oh, yeah, it's Tom Laidlaw, yeah.
So you take a lot of pictures, sign some autographs?
We did, you know what? We didn't much because we were moving the whole time when I got there. So they have a fan of the game every game. So they have an alumni member give him a stick, get the picture taken up on the big screen. So I did that before the game, and then we had 2 suites to go to. So we were running around going to those 2 suites because we want to get that out of the way, and then I could do the Santa Claus outfit. So and then I'm not much for staying around the game. So once that was done in the second period, then I left.
You're 2-period Tommy.
Well, Allie's funny because she calls me one take Tommy because when we did that video with Matteau and Anderson, I kept I was nailing it, all the lines and everything like that. And of course, I beat Mr. Cocky and saying, "Oh yeah, one take Tommy." So she calls me one take Tommy.
Nice. Did they get their lines, or did they have to do a couple takes?
Yeah. Well, it was getting them comfortable to really ham it up a little bit because the idea of the video was that we were being goofballs,
right?
Which for me is hard to
playing the character.
Yeah. So, and Steph Matteau is pretty good too, but Glenny's a little bit more uptight, like getting him to kind of loosen up and act like an idiot.
Hall of Famer, those guys can't cut up like that.
Well, that is true, right? I mean, he's got a certain, my reputation is not a Hall of Famer when it's 6 off my.
Right. It being a big goof. So you're in the suite. So you guys just hang out with the people who buy the suite. Is that how that works?
No, so this one was an empty suite. No, I'm sorry, but then when we go up to the suite, yes.
Yeah.
So what they do is typically with people that buy like a suite at a one time, they really want to make an experience for them. So they have the alumni members go up. This was those big open suites up top. Those are just nice. It's a different idea. It's not like that closed in room, but it's you can get much more people in there. So they're fun. The whole family is up there. So we all got a picture taken together. It's one big family. I guess not all the daughters and sons, but cousins and everything. So we got a picture taken together. I told them to send it to me so we could post it. So
nice. I'm going to have to talk to Jackie because the Roller Hockey League, the New York City Roller Hockey League, we got a suite last week and there were no alumni there. There was no Tom Laidlaw. I was, as requested. I'm a little disappointed. So I'm going to have to talk to the Garden about that.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get on that Jackie DiPiazza. So now, in fairness to Jackie, they kind of go to her and say, okay, we need alumni. So she arranges it, but she doesn't make the decisions. But and go if they go to a suite or not.
And we didn't ask. I just assumed that they would have someone, at least the 3rd or 4th most popular number 2 left-handed shooting defenseman in Ranger history would come in. Third most popular number 2 lefty shooting.
So there's one other number 2 before I wore number 2. So in between Brad Park and myself, just for a short period of time. Do you know who that was?
I could.
A little known Ranger, Josh Guvermont.
I thought he was number 5.
I think he just wore the number 2 briefly,
okay,
and then switched. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of cool trivia points too. Like Phil Esposito, when he first came to the Rangers, was not 77. Do you know what number he was? First year, he wore a different number.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what was it?
12.
Oh, wow. And how about he didn't always wear number 77 in Boston either, right?
I think he wore 7, right?
Yeah. Because remember they had the Ray Bourque was wearing 7 after Phil left, and then that had their retirement night. So
that was a really cool moment for people. I know you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So Ray Bourque was out there, a great, obviously Hall of Fame player for the Boston Bruins. So they were retiring Phil's number 7 jersey at the Garden, but up till that point, Ray Bourque had been wearing number 7. So he came out. He had the jersey on, right? He had number 7 on.
Yeah.
And then he gets in front of the crowd. Phil didn't know this was going on. Ray Bourque takes off the number 7 underneath number 77. Saying to Phil, listen, that number never worn again. So that really got to Phil. He was pretty emotional about that.
That was awesome. And he handed him the jersey. He's like, here you go. That was a really cool moment.
And Phil really follows his heart, I'll tell you. If he goes with heart,
heck yeah.
Every decision, good and bad, it's following the heart. Yeah.
Even when he traded you to LA for aging Marcel Dion.
Oh, God, that was funny. Yeah.
So that was it. So that's one trivia. And then the other one was Adam Graves, his first number with the Rangers, he wore for one game.
Oh, number 9. No, I don't know.
So he wore number 11 for the first game of the season. Then they made the trade for Messier, and then he gave up 11 and took number 9.
And who wore number 11 before?
Before Kelly Kissio.
Yes, there you go. Nice, good job.
Who else was 11? I'm trying to think. Well, I know two, and I think I might have asked this before, but they gave you number 2 as a rookie.
Yeah, that was a big moment. Joey Bucchino was kind of like the traveling secretary and handed out all the jerseys. And I was having a really good camp, or I thought I was having a good camp. So when they handed out the jerseys for those rookie games, they give 46, 47, all these guys. He gave me number 2, and he looked me right in the eye and goes, "You deserve this." And that was kind of one of the first signals I got that, hey, he's doing pretty well. Yeah. It's, he really did.
Were you like, holy shit, I'm going to make this team? Were you like, I'm going to?
Yeah, well, I wasn't totally there, but I was like, yeah, I was thinking, wow, am I really doing that well? Like because you really don't know. You're just going through playing the game. So when he said that, like the way he looked at me too, he said, "You deserve this." And I was like, oh, my God.
Great number.
Because, that first training camp, you really don't know. Looking back, like Mike Allison says all the time that was my training camp, that I had a great camp. I didn't really see it that way, but that was his first camp as well. And he played well too. So that was fun. Yeah.
So you made that camp out of Northern Michigan University.
That's right.
Today,
Harvard of the Midwest.
Isn't the Upper Peninsula Harvard? Is that what it is? Or the Harvard of the UP? No?
Harvard. That's the Harvard.
It must have said Harvard.
Oh, okay. They said the Harbor.
No, there's probably a harbor there.
Yeah.
Sure there is in
nice
Traverse City, right?
Yeah, nice harbor. Well, so the UP, so there's the two pieces to Michigan, right? There's the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula. And Northern Michigan University is in Marquette, Michigan, on the southern shores of Lake Superior, and the UP. Beautiful up there. Man, if you didn't know, like just during the summer, like you think you're in the Bahamas or something. The only problem is, so it's so cold. It warms up, but the ice, Lake Superior, there's still ice floating in the Lake Superior during the summer. This is just
that's great. And then for people who haven't seen the Great Lakes, it's basically like an inland ocean. They're just massive. They're so big, and especially Superior.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. You're on the beach there. You think you're in the ocean. You don't see the other side. And wasn't this Finnish song? Some ship sank up there, Lake Superior.
Oh, is it the Engelbert Humperdinck song?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, something like that.
The Downing. Oh, who'll know this? Big fan of the show, Ed Carr. He'll know because he's a big folk music fan. But he'll know.
The Great Gucci Hooey or something like that. It's weird.
I don't know. Ed Carr, help us out here. Send us an email at fullchangepodcast@gmail.com. But I would like to also talk about Northern Michigan because it brings up today's guest because obviously you're probably, at least you'll tell everyone, you're the biggest hockey player to come out of Northern Michigan. But today we have a client of yours, didn't fire you, a national champion too.
Yeah.
He won.
He had quite a career too up there, man. Oh,
yeah. Today we have your friend Dallas Drake on the show today.
Probably more than anybody else. Certainly I represented, and probably more than anybody I really can remember. And I'm not saying he's the best player ever, but he got the most out of his career. Like he wasn't a big guy, and he just willed himself to win. I dared to play in the National Hockey and win.
He was the type of player that everybody wanted on their team.
Yeah.
Tough, sandpaper player, could score some goals, good leader. Yeah. I remember when the Rangers were in a down period, I think he was coming up on free agency. I remember a big Ranger fan and listener to Ryan Bentley was like, you know what this team needs? This team needs Dallas Drake.
That's big, yeah. He wasn't the first one, but remember when Colorado won the Cup and Ray Bourque was there?
Sure.
Joe Sakic was the captain, and he turned right away and gave the Cup to Ray Bourque. That's the first time that happened. And then shortly after that, I don't think it was right after that, but the same thing with Dallas Drake. So when they won the Cup, Steve Yzerman got the trophy, and they handed the Cup to Dallas Drake. It really signifies that the rest of the team really gets to participate in that.
Yeah,
it shows how much they really care about it because it's the end of his career. Won the Stanley Cup, carried the Cup off, and then retired after that. It was just,
look at you hockey players, man. You got Ray Bourque taking off his jersey for Phil. You got Sakic, and you got Steve Yzerman handing the trophy up to Dallas Drake. You guys are like sentimental mushes, man. Look, that's cool.
Well, you know what? Isn't that the funny thing? Like we act like we're these big tough guys, like savages out there. And there's a lot of, especially amongst your teammates. It's not just your teammates, but the game in general. I mean, obviously, when you're playing the game, especially back then, you wanted to kill each other. That was part of the strategy. But it was something like we want. I think it's a real pride thing that we carry ourselves in a certain way. Like when you hear people all the time say, "Listen, hockey players are the best of all pro athletes," as far as treating people and kids.
For sure.
And I think there's a real pride there too. That if a guy doesn't do that, if he acts bad, this guy should look at him. Hey, listen, you're ruining it. For decades here, we built this reputation about how we handle ourselves.
But nobody would have said peep if Yzerman gave it to one of the assistant captains or to Fedorov or somebody. But just the fact that he did, and he went into that game saying, you know what, if we win tonight, Drake's getting the cup first. That's pretty cool, man.
That is really cool. Yeah, I think because Steve Yzerman's a really classy guy too. You know, for him to recognize he's got a lot of things going on. He's just trying to win the Stanley Cup. He's the captain. He's the legend in Detroit a little bit. For him to think that through that way.
He got it locked away though. He's like, all right, I'm gonna get this guy the cup. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. Yeah. And Dallas Drake didn't fire you, so even better. It's a bonus, double bonus.
Well, we hopefully we get to talk about it on the show. But he was a free agent and it's leaving Phoenix, I think it was, and he wanted to go play for St. Louis.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll definitely get to that. We'll ask him about that for sure.
That's a good story. Yeah.
All right. Hopefully people enjoy this episode. It's Dallas Drake. If you like what you're hearing, please share it, spread it around, like us on social media, leave us a review on Apple. And email us at fullchangepodcast@gmail.com. If you want Tom at your event, if you want him to speak or sing or do imitations or work out or make food, just send us an email. We'll get right to you.
That's the cooking part of it too. Yeah, my cooking is really taken off.
You're like the Bobby Flay of Greenwich, Connecticut.
That's right.
Or someone else.
Whereas our guest on the show he calls me Q-Tip. We'll explain that on the show as well.
All right, Q-Tip. It's a vibrant thing. Here we go. Dallas Drake coming up.
This is Full Change with Tom Laidlaw.
Oh, man. Dally Drake.
How's it going, Lane?
Good, brother. How are you doing? Are you in Arizona?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona.
Wow, when did you move there?
Like 2.5 years ago, came out here. Yeah, I got sick of the snow. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just up Traverse City there, too, right? Don't they have a picture of you at the Traverse City ice rink?
Yeah, I've been trying to get them to take that down for a couple of years. It's been up there forever, so yeah.
I actually went back up to Northern Michigan about, had to be about a year ago. I put on a speaking presentation up there. Man, it's changed.
Oh, yeah, it changed a lot up. It looks good, though.
Yes.
Did a good job.
Oh, they finally got plumbing?
Yes, they've had plumbing there for a long time. And how many girls? You're all girls, right? 2 girls?
No, I got 2 boys, 2 girls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my youngest is still in the house with us, and the rest are off and away just doing their own thing.
We're getting old, aren't we?
Oh, my God. Yeah, crazy.
How are you feeling? How's your health and everything?
I'm okay. Yeah, I got a few knee issues, but yeah, just try to keep busy and not as busy as you, obviously, but I try my best.
Got to get you on some shows, some TV shows like Survivor or something like that.
Yeah, that was great. I loved watching that. It's good. Everyone watch that shows and you're on.
It's funny, you know, like I talk to people now, like I talked to John Kyle, and he goes, "What were you thinking when you saw me on the show?" I couldn't believe I got on it.
He was thinking it must have been really cold in Fiji, all that shrinkage.
Yeah, the only thing my sons were worried about, we were watching the first show together, and all their buddies were texting him saying, "Dad's got to put a sock in his underwear there to make it a little bit bigger." Package wasn't big enough.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, whatever it takes, man.
Oh, God. I told Tom, sorry, when you came to stay at our house there in Michigan, and I won't tell this publicly because I guess you're in trouble.
Let's get into it. Let's get the show rolling here.
No, okay, yeah, let's get going. So Tom's going to do a little introduction here, then we get rolling.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Tom, we got a great show today. I always love these. We have one of your clients on the show, and he never fired you. He played at Northern Michigan for 4 years, but unlike some people in the room, he's actually intelligent. He had a great NHL career, was a tough player who everybody wanted on their team. He actually went on to win a Stanley Cup in his final season because his agent got him a great deal. Today we have Dallas Drake on the show.
Dally, one of my favorites all time. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, bud. It's great to see you.
I was telling Tom the story about how you, at the end of your career, you got bought out there at St. Louis, and you said to me one thing. You said, "Get me to Detroit and don't fuck it up." You said it. That was cool. Remember saying that?
Yeah, I remember saying that. I mean, that was pretty much the only place I would go play. I was living in Michigan, so I was either there or I was hanging around.
Yeah, they were a contender there too. And it's funny because Kenny Holland and Jim Neal run the team at that time, and Kenny Holland said, "Listen, we'd love to have him, but I can only pay him the $500,000 minimum." I think it was the point. And so I went to Jim Neal. I said, "Can you please make it $550 so it looks like I've done something here?" So he gave us the $550.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a great way to end my career, man. So
yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So that was one of the first. It wasn't the first time. It was one of the first times where the Steve Yzerman, was captain, turned to somebody else and gave the trophy to somebody else.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I think you'd had that long career, right? I remember I watched Chris Draper talk about it. That's pretty.
Yeah, it was super cool. It was a great way to finish. Obviously, winning the Stanley Cups. Every guy's dream, and it was like finishing it that way was fantastic.
Yeah. Retire after winning the cup, right? Have that long career. How many years did you play?
16.
I told so many people, use you as an example. I think you got more out of your career than anybody I've ever seen as an agent or played against. It's like when you started playing, maybe coming out of college, I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's going to play in the minors a few years, whatever, be a goal scorer. And all of a sudden, training camp, they're running over everybody. Remember that?
Yeah, like I think I tell people the same thing. I said when I got to Detroit, their centermen were Stevie, Sergey, Jimmy Carson, and I was a centerman. I was like, well, the only way I'm going to play is to do something a lot different. And I didn't mind banging around a little bit, so I just did whatever I could to give myself a chance, and that was obviously how my career kind of evolved from there, and gave me a chance to play a lot longer than I even thought I'd play as well.
Yeah. Remember one day, I think it was the playoffs that year, your final year, this was some playoff series, and I think someone was yapping at you, and you said to him, I'm coming for you. I'm coming. And you say something. Was it something like that?
Yeah. My mouth got in the way a lot of my career, so that was one thing I was good at, and cost me a few teeth here and there because I probably said a lot of wrong things to the wrong players at the time. But yeah, it was a different game back then, as you know. So like a lot of top guys in the league, if you said something, you usually had to pay the price.
Yeah,
it's just fun.
Think about Dally though; he just didn't back down from anybody. Like didn't matter who it was on the ice, you were going to run him.
Yeah, you know what? I just, that was how I played. I know that's how my game evolved, and that's the only way for me to play at that time and stay in the league, I think, was to do that. It just brought a little different element to my game. So, every now and then you get a chance to play with good players, and you chip in a few goals here and there, and it gives you another opportunity. So it was something I relished, and I actually, after a while, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you're good at it too. So you're born and raised in Kelowna? Does that sound?
No, it's a small town called Rosswind.
Yeah,
it's about 3 hours from Kelowna, but not too far from there. Yeah.
And is it true that the movie Miracle, they filmed that scene? They filmed it at your family, farm?
My parents' farm, actually. Yeah, the scene where they do the football scene, they play football. That's there, and when the guys driving up down the road, my parents' little barn's there. So it's pretty cool.
How'd that come about?
I think they were just looking for a small town. The small town in Ralston is a small town that actually looks a lot like Lake Placid. It's very small and stuff like that, and lots of snow and mountains in the background. So it's probably a lot cheaper to go film it there than it was Lake Placid. So, it just kind of worked out that way. And my mom was thrilled with it. She's out there taking pictures like she was a movie star.
Oh, is that right? That's cool.
Yeah.
Mom gets a nice little location fee for that too.
They get paid for that?
I'm sure they got a little bit. I never really got into that with them. But yeah, I'm sure they got a little bit.
Now, were you a real good player when you were younger, like a goal scorer?
No, I was more of a playmaker, small, tiny guy. Didn't score. Once I got into the junior, I scored a little bit, and then maybe by college, my last couple of years, I scored a little bit. But no, I was more of a centerman, like to pass the puck a lot. So that's more my forte.
And you actually went to school in Northern Michigan too, like not like me. I didn't buy books or anything.
Well, I went to Northern, yeah. Sometimes I didn't go to all the classes, but yeah, you know what Northern's like, and it's nothing to get that. It's a fantastic school. Different now, obviously, than when we played. All air is different, but I loved it there. It's fantastic.
They actually had to read when Dallas went there, unlike when you were there, Tom.
I'd love to deny it. I'd love to tell you that was not true, but we didn't know how to read. Oh, I tell all the time, my senior year, I was failing a business class, so I had to drop it and take 4 1-credit classes. So I took racquetball, bowling, phys ed, and get this, we were the number 1 team in the country. I'm the captain of the team. I took beginning skating.
Oh, yeah, I took that class.
Did you take it?
Oh, yeah, beginning skating. Our assistant coach was the teacher, and he said, you ever show up in the class, you're failing.
That's what Rick Conley said. That's hilarious. Rick Conley said the same thing to me. He says, don't show up. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh.
Dallas, how does it feel to be the most popular player to come out of Northern Michigan?
Oh, well, I know about that. There's a lot of good players that come out of there. Lace being one. Lace kind of blaze trailed and everything. He was one of the first guys that really went to the NHL coming out of Northern, and obviously had a long career as well. So he kind of got the ball started for a lot of us.
That's funny, right? Like, especially going up there, you can't think, was it too far away from the National Hockey League? It's too far. When I looked there, I spoke to all the student athletes about a year ago. And that's the one thing I said to them. Listen, I mentioned you, myself, other people. Don't ever think you can't make it just because you're going to a smaller school. In fact, you should tell yourself, I am going to make it. Did you have that dream when you were a kid?
Well, at least quite honestly, I didn't really know I had much of a chance until probably my senior year in college. I mean, like I had some good years in college, but and I was drafted after my freshman year, but I never really, it wasn't really in my mindset. Obviously my senior year, things started to change. I met you, and I knew I had a little bit of a chance, at least to play professional hockey. I think I had a little bit of a chance there, but playing the NHL immediately like I didn't know that. But, sometimes, things work out the way they do.
You made it work out. I remember watching that first training camp and thinking, because I thought, okay, yeah, go play in the minors a couple of years and then maybe play in the National Hockey League. You're a good enough player. Then that first training camp, wow, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, it's I thought the same thing. You probably were thinking about me too. I thought I'd be in Adirondack and maybe scrap it around, maybe get a chance. But in credit to the Red Wings at the time, Brian Murray really gave me a good chance to play. So I give him a lot of credit. He stuck with me and threw me in there. And whether it was right or wrong, they had a lot of good prospects at the time. They could replace me very easy, but he gave me a chance. And so that's all you can ask for sometimes. A chance. I tell kids that all the time. To get a chance, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. So did you have a lot of colleges recruiting you?
No, at the time I didn't. Northern was the first team that really talked to me, and as soon as they offered me, I'd jumped on it. I was all over it. I had a couple of schools after that because I started doing a little bit better after my in junior, but at the time I really didn't. I wasn't very heavily recruited.
And Walt Kyle came in and recruited you?
Oh yeah, Walt. Walt. He can sound nice doing Eskimo, so he's a fantastic recruiter.
Yeah,
he spent a lot of time out in BC and got a couple of our teammates. Me and my best friend ended up going to Northern, and he was a fantastic. I'll never forget when he took us on a recruiting trip there, building a part of the hospital they're adding onto it. It was really nice, and he told us that was where all the athletes were staying. And he told us that, so we're like, we get to stay in these nice dorms. We walked out the next year. He goes, "How's those dorms treating you boys?"
Rick Collins the same way because he told us we went there. We played at Lakeview Arena. You played there too, right?
Yep.
And he said there's going to be a brand new building built here, and he's like, the first year you're going to have this new building you're playing. 4 years we played at Lakeview Arena. Locker room was the size of a bathroom for guys. Did you ever have a
great place to play? The Lakeview was fabulous. It was packed and loud.
Yeah.
It's a good spot to play.
Yeah, I was telling Tom Smith, the producer here, when we played North Dakota my senior year, they were ranked number one in the country, and is it Gino? Maybe it was Gino Gasparini. That's right. He was asked if he was afraid to play in Northern Michigan University. We were not afraid of him, buddy. After they played Lakeview Arena for 2 nights, all the drunks hanging over the glass and everything. And he says, "We're never coming back to this place again."
Yeah. That was back in the day when I think Northern at the time when I was there, but they might have been the only school that was actually, they had the donors room downstairs where you could buy alcohol.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And not many colleges had that. So after, like you said, half the people in there were plastered. So it was fantastic.
I'm sure you had a different doctor, but the doctor we had, the team doctor, he would drink all the time during the games.
Oh, I'm not sure.
So if you ever got a cut in the third period, they could just go to the doctor because he'd lean over and start stitching you up and you'd smell the booze coming off. So we'd say to him, "Listen, don't bother freezing it because I don't want another needle going near my face."
Right. Yeah, that's right. Use a 20-pound test fishing line.
But you're right, though. That was fantastic. Like the town itself playing. It was more like ours was playing for the university, but you're playing for the town too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Heck yeah. And that's what I liked about it. I came from a very small town in British Columbia, so like that's one of the things that drew it to me is just going there. There's 25,000 people. There's 5,000 to 70 places. It was just a fantastic small culture. All the little pubs and bars around town were a lot of fun as well.
So when you went there, Jimmy Hiller, Scott Beatty, for sure. And
Phil Sucrow, we had a bunch of BC kids, Kevin Scott. And even after when I left there was a bunch more BC kids that came in. So we had a bunch. Yeah, it was really a good time. That's when back in the day when there was no cell phones, so you could do what you wanted. I
remember we went out to the bar. I went to recruit you, and we went to the bar one night, and I remember watching it, and he said, Dally was this guy who kind of rallied the whole team together, both on the ice and off the ice. I never forget to say, "All right, guys, grab your best girl. We're going on the desk." Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun back then, as you know, everybody did back in those days. So it was different era, so much fun. I try to tell kids that nowadays I coach my youngest son's team out here, and I was like, and they're always on their cell phones, and I'm like, you guys, when I was your age, people didn't want to know where you were. And now everybody has to know where you are and what you're doing. I'm like, why do you want to do that? Like, put it out, put it away.
Yeah. You said that's the way you live your life too. Like you live your life all out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was just so much fun. College, that was the greatest 4 years of my life. I tell people when I won the Stanley Cup, it was obviously the greatest achievement, but when we won the national championship in my junior year, that was by far the best thing that ever happened. Regardless of what happened to me in my hockey career after that, I was so happy to play pro like everybody else. But as a team and being a part of something, winning a national championship was amazing.
So winning the national championship against BU, correct?
Yep. Triple overtime.
Triple overtime. Yeah. Oh, I remember
maybe the best college game ever. Like it was, I mean, just the way, no defense whatsoever, 8-7. We were up 7-4. They were up 3-0. We were up 7-4. They came back, triple overtime. It was unreal. So.
And who scored the winner? Was it Daryl Plandowski scored it?
Daryl Plandowski. Yeah, don't worry. He'll never let you live that
one. He's scouting. What's he scouting with now?
He's with Coyotes now. He's he does a very good job when he does. He's a really smart guy.
Daryl Plandowski. Yeah, I talked to him once. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, really good.
You also had a roller hockey legend on that team. You had Tony Szabo.
Tony Szabo. Yeah.
Roller hockey legend.
Oh, is he really? Oh, yeah. Tony Szabo.
Yeah, I played a little roller hockey. He's still living up in the Marquette area. We were up there this past summer for a little bit of a reunion type thing, and Tony was kicking around a little bit. So
that's right. I heard you met Mimi.
Yeah, I met a lot of yeah. There was a lot of faces I seen up there this year that I hadn't seen in so long. Well, they don't look the same. So it's still fun to see everybody.
Was the old bar Andy's? Was that there when you were?
I don't remember Andy's. We had like the Alibi and Rock and stuff.
The old Alibi had the disco floor, didn't he?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. There was at least 3 or 4 fights in there every night. So
oh God, yeah. Remember that back when the Air Force Base was still open and all the miners were tough and everything like that. But out of the bars,
football players didn't like the hockey players. Yeah. So
where do they keep the Laidlaw statue up there?
It's there somewhere. Don't worry.
It's in the bar. It's at Andy's bar, the peanut bar. Andy's was the place. We go in there with Canadian Tire money. You've seen the Canadian Tire money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they give you the Canadian Tire. They give you like a 25-cent bill or whatever. It's kind of like
Monopoly money?
Yeah, Monopoly money. So we'd go into Andy's, order like 6 beers, give the guy 25 cents, a Canadian Tire bill. He'd give us the change back, 6 beers. Break the money. Oh, yeah. We were, like Dally said, too, like we're the only Division I sport in Northern Michigan. So, especially like our senior year, we were ranked number 1. Dally was winning the national championship.
Fortunate for me, I didn't get the 4 years of that because they closed it after my 4th year. Yeah. I don't know why. It was just, I think there was a lot of shit going on there, rumbles and fights. And then the Shamrock became the big place to go for us. That's where everything else.
So there's no football team there at the time, right?
Yeah, there's football team, but Division III.
So you guys are the kings of the campus up there in hockey country.
Yeah. There's Steve Mariucci, the football, but he played up there.
Izzo, yeah.
Yes,
Michigan State coach. So
we do it there's a current NHL player, I think he's still current, whose parents, the father was a football player, and mother's cheer. Phil Kessel's parents were up there too.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. Phil's mother was a popular person. I said popular. The father actually looked just like Phil too.
Oh yeah.
She was
hot dogs.
Yeah, I think that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So, how many years did you get in Detroit the first time?
I was still there for my first 2 years. I got traded my second year, right at the end of my second year.
That's right. Winnipeg, So, that's right. You went to Winnipeg. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, it was great for my career. I mean, like, he went to a young team from a team where, I wasn't, Scotty, it was Scotty's first year there, and Scotty, probably didn't like me running around being an idiot. So he got me out of there, and it was good, though. It was good for my career. I went and got a chance to go play with the younger team, play a lot more, establish myself a little bit more, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I mean, would I like to be in Detroit when I won all those cups? Heck yeah. But,
you mentioned Scotty Bowman. I forgot about that. Didn't he say that you hit too hard or something?
Yeah, he told me. I remember Scotty pulled me into his office one day, and he told me to stop hitting as much. I'm like, well, what else do I do? I mean, like, that's how I play type thing. So
yeah.
I think there was a little conflict there, and then I got called into Brian Murray's office not long after that. And he asked me why I wasn't hitting him. I'm like, you gotta go talk to Scotty.
Oh, it's that. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of I was out there not soon after. I think Scotty thought I went to Brian and stuff, which I didn't. But whatever, it's fine. And Scotty was there my last year in 2008 too as well, so it was fun.
That's right.
And then you get to play with Teemu Selanne and Walt Kachuk, Big Walt in Winnipeg, and then in Phoenix.
Big Walt, yeah, Big Walt's still one of my best friends. Me and Walt were roommates forever, so he's still one of my closest friends. Great guy. His kids obviously are great players. And I only played with Teemu for a little bit. That was one of the worst trades in NHL history. They traded Teemu when not soon after I got there. They traded him to Anaheim for, I don't know, a cup of coffee.
Oh,
Crazy.
forgot about that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. We got we got good players back, but Tim Laslani, that kind of count.
And then how many years were you in Winnipeg then?
I was there till we moved to Phoenix. So I was there for two years. I got traded there in March, and then the next two. Then we had the lockout, and then we had a full year after that. So pretty much I played a year and a half there, and then we moved to Phoenix. So
Phoenix was nice too. That's a great place to play, isn't it?
yeah, it's weather. You can't beat the weather, that's for sure. It's for me. I remember when we flew down here during the All-Star break that year. We left Winnipeg. It was like minus 25. When we got to Phoenix, it was 100-degree temperature difference. It was like 8. So it was like, oh, we didn't know what we were celebrating. It was awesome.
Dallas, how bizarre is that when the franchise just up and moves? That's got to be weird, right?
Yeah, especially going to a market which wasn't very hockey oriented, but we had good crowds.
Yeah.
They enjoyed us. It was we were kind of a little gimmicky there to start, but we had some good teams there too. We just unfortunately we could never get through the Colorados and Detroits of the world, but we had some really good teams.
Yeah, I remember those years. Yeah, Jeremy Roenick was there with you.
Yeah, GR.
What'd you call him? Hollywood? Is that what you call him?
Hollywood? Yeah, well, he named him Style. He had lots of different names for himself. Styles, Hollywood. Yeah, so he had all those names. So yeah, we had some good characters on that team.
I remember what it was. Walt Kachuk, did he have kind of a bad reputation amongst people? Keith Kachuk, sorry, yeah.
He wasn't loved by around the league by no means. Yeah, he was dirty, but he was a tough kid. And, Walt's biggest thing is he had no filter. So he said some things he probably shouldn't be saying. And being a Boston guy, I'm sure you can imagine some of the things that were coming out of his mouth. But he was, he's one of my dearest friends. Yeah. Fantastic guy. He's a Hall of Famer in my opinion. I don't know why he's in there, but hopefully somebody will get in. So.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember having that conversation with you when you guys became friends, and I'd heard all these bad things about him. So I said to you, Dally, you got to be careful around him. And you stood up for him right away. You said, nope, he's a fantastic guy. And that's the first time I'd heard somebody say that, and I respected you. So that was good. Yeah,
he's a good dude. I haven't seen a lot of guys that worked as hard as him off the ice. I mean, he was constantly, because he's a big guy, right? He had to watch his weight. So he's on the bike 24/7 trying to keep his weight down. And he liked that fun, though. It's nothing about that. He liked that fun. So.
You also had Rick Tocchet on that Coyotes team out there too, right?
Yeah. Played with Talk for the last year in Phoenix. Talks was there. That's when we those last 2 years Talk was there. So he's doing a real good job in Vancouver. All the goalies, he's got those guys playing their way right now. So.
Who's the big tough defenseman that you're with there?
We had when Charlie was there, Manson was there.
Yeah,
we had Wolfkutson. We had guys. I'm trying to think of a couple of the other guys. We had what the heck was that one guy's name? Oh, it's Stefan Cattell. He was in Winnipeg when I was at BU. Yeah, so we had a few tough guys that played there, but Charlie was probably our toughest guy. He was just wacko.
He was a good guy though too. Wasn't he really good?
Great guy.
Yeah,
fantastic. So
did he get hit in the throat and had
Yeah. That's why he talks like
he's got the raspy voice.
Yeah,
he's a big man. He's And who was it? Teppo Newman when he was with you guys too?
Yeah, Teppo. He was a secret gem. That guy. He was a good player. Yeah, very good player. Quiet, small, smart. Yeah, he was really good.
You had Nikolai Hobby-Bulin in it too. The Bulin Wall.
Yeah. We had a good team the year. The 1 year we lost to St. Louis in 7. We were up 3-1, and then we lost. And then we lost to Detroit, Colorado. We always had to play one of those tough teams early on, and we could get through them. So it goes.
So how many total years did you have in Phoenix then?
4 full years in Phoenix, and then you got me my big deal in St. Louis.
So I got to tell you about the free agent day. So that's a big day, right? And Dally was everybody wanted Dallas straight. There's probably about 10 teams around Dally. But for some reason you wanted St. Louis too, right? Wasn't it like that?
Yeah, dude. I don't know what it was. I really don't. I just thought they had a really good chance to win, so I was probably more than anything else.
Right. So when you're an agent, you got a player that everybody wants. So it's a fun day for an agent because you're going back and forth all day long. You're on the phone the whole day, and I'm filling in Dally. So by the end of it worked out really good. Got a good contract from St. Louis, and that's where he wanted to be. So it was a good day. So he gets on the phone. He's getting a little teary-eyed on the phone. And finally, Amy, his wife, gets on the phone, who I knew get pretty good friends with. She goes, he's been drinking beer all day long. So it all made sense.
As an outsider, what's that like? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Are you saying, okay, Tom, we want St. Louis? Are you getting phone calls at 12:01 midnight? How's that work?
No, it starts I think it's noon or whatever. There's a certain, no, it's like noonish, right. So Dally and I, my client and I, Dallas in this case, we'll talk and say, okay, where's the ideal place you want to go? Here's the range I think you can get for money. But with free agency, it's not tough. You want to get a bidding war going, so we could go beyond where you want to go.
So you're like, okay, we want St. Louis, but here comes New York, and maybe they can up the price.
Right. And you got to be careful to make sure that nobody else knows. Well, you want to give the impression that all your 20 teams won, but you don't want to lie to anybody because that hurts you.
So your phone's ringing off the hook that day, right?
Yeah, they're ringing. And so we promise, again, you're not supposed to talk to teams until that 12 o'clock starts, but especially you've got other clients, you're talking to GMs about, and say, well, we're down the street, what's going on? So yeah, I went back and forth, and St. Louis was in on it right away. But again, I said, listen, there's lots of other teams you need to talk to. And again, you got to be careful of that because you don't want to lose St. Louis either. So you got to play that game. But it was a fun day for me. Yeah, going back and forth all day long, and
those are good times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was a couple of teams, and one that stood out to me was Toronto offered me a pretty good deal. I think offered me another year and a little bit more money. But I was like, I had zero interest in going there. But yeah, Lades is unreal. He got me where I wanted to go. So it worked out.
It's fun. When Dave works out like that, it's just like, it's a fun day. And he was so happy. I'm joking around about drinking the beer, but he's happy because it's his career, it's the money.
Well, that's a huge payday. I mean, that's what you're playing for, right?
Yeah. Was it like a 5-year deal?
I got 4 years, but I got way more money than I ever thought I'd get. So it was I think I got 4 years, $9 million, and it was unreal. So
yeah.
That was life-changing for me and my family. And I was going to a team where I really thought we had a chance to win. I really did. So we were close our first couple of years there. We went to the conference finals. Just kind of couldn't get over that hump. So,
and Keith ended up with you there as well, right?
Yeah, but he got traded probably at the deadline of my first year there. Oh. Yeah, so he got traded that there. And that's the year we went to the conference finals and lost Colorado. I thought we were going to win that year. We swept Dallas, and then we played Colorado in the conference finals. But we had Colorado ended up going to Anaheim and going to 7 games, and we swept Dallas. We had 9 days in between or something like that.
Right.
And that really kind of messed us up. I thought not to say we would have beat them, but I thought we were a little stale there for that series. So
it's a really good team. You got Al McInnes on that team. Chris Pronger's on that team.
Yeah, we had our defense was.
And you ended up being the captain of the team there as well, right?
Yeah, my last couple of years I was the captain there, so it was quite an honor to be given that. The coaches, we were young though. We were a little bit of transition stage there. We went young. The owner had sold the team, and so we were kind of transitioning to a different type of stuff. Pronger was gone. Al just retired. We traded Dougie Wade, so we were kind of we didn't make the playoffs the last couple of years there. So it was I was just there to help play young guys for a little bit. So
John Davidson took over too, right?
JD was there. Yep. Yeah, good man. Yep.
Yeah. So they were a little tussy. I said something. I was negotiating me for Chris Mason or something, and they're going through financial troubles again. And some reporter asked me about would I maybe help them more because of my relationship with John Davidson, the financial troubles. I said, I'm not going to give up money, but yes, we understand they're having financial troubles. But they got all mad at me because I acknowledged it. It wasn't as much JD; it was some of the upper Checketts and McCarthy and those guys.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
JD was probably still salty because you scored on him in your own net.
I don't know if I've ever told you the story, Dally. My first game in the NHL was in Boston, first regular season game. And I was so nervous. JD was in net. I went to shoot the puck around the back of the net. I hit JD in the leg and shot in my own net. And JD looked at me like, what are you, some kind of idiot? What? So, yeah. My first goal. So then they buy you out of your last year of your contract. I talked to JD about that. There was really no reason for that, right? It's just they were moving on.
Yeah, I think, it's funny because it was at the time they said they wanted to save money. This is nothing against them. But then they went outside Paul Korea for a whole whack of cash. Now, but it's whatever. I was casually, they had to free up some money at the time. And quite honestly, I was considering, I was going back and forth whether I wanted to play much more anymore. But I had another year in my deal. I was definitely going to play that out. They bought me out, and then Detroit, worked out for me fine. They had a little bit of money, and I went to Detroit.
It was the famous story I tell everybody all the time is, and Kenny Holland has run the team I had a good relationship with in Detroit. Jim Neal was assistant GM, and Dally says to me, he says, really short and sweet too. He goes, "Get me to Detroit and don't fuck it up." I would die laughing. And then Kenny Holland, the minimum was the $500,000, and he said, "Listen, give me $500." That's when I went to Jim Neal and said, "Jim, can you just give me $550 so it looks like it does something."
Well, you remember Chris, Frosty, right? Yeah. So Frosty was the first guy I called when I you knew I was getting by. He was the first person I called because he was, he's good buddies with Stevie and stuff like that. And I said, Frosty, I said, I'd love to come play there. And he told Stevie, and Stevie passed it on. And I was like, next thing I know, you were talking to him. So
Chris Capetta, Frosty, That's an interesting guy. He's probably the most famous guy in the National Hockey League. He's a trainer. He's with New Jersey now, but he knows everybody.
Everybody.
Right? Yeah.
And he's the nicest human being you could ever meet. He works his ass off. And there isn't a player that he's worked for that doesn't have a good thing to say about him. He's fantastic. So
I remember Kenny Holland saying that he hired him just because he wanted him around.
He's great. I always give him chicks. I tell him his wife, he's overachieving so bad. Like, dude, I'm like, do you look in the mirror? Does she look in the mirror? Like,
what do they call that? Out kick in the coverage?
Way out kick.
Who was it? I remember Dan Cleary. I was at a year-end party, and he was there with his wife, and you said a comment like, she's pretty hot too, and he wasn't a good-looking guy at all. That's not gonna last.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could say something, guys, and they wouldn't have feelings.
I know. Oh, that's in some of these guys not being in the locker room back then, those days. Oh,
yeah, like I the locker room when we had Phoenix, we had like Jimmy McKenzie and Tockett and JR and Wall.
So you had Jim McKenzie. Oh, hold on. I gotta ask you, Doug. Sorry to interrupt. Is Jim McKenzie's schlong that big?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Biggest one you ever seen?
Yeah. And it's funny. I'll never forget when he got traded to Winnipeg. It was probably my last year in Winnipeg, and he like guys were like getting out of the getting their gear off so they could get in the shower fast as they could see. And guys were like, "Jeff's going like this," when he walked in.
Oh God! Oh, I got him. He asked me to represent him right at the end of his career. And I called to L.A. and Dave Taylor was on, and I played with Dave. Dave's a really great guy. He's funny, but he's a really serious guy too. But at least having fun. So I called him up. He's a GM at the time, and I said, "I'm trying to find a job for Jim McKenzie." He starts giggling like a little kid. He goes, "He's got the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life." Told me a story about how he's bending over doing up the skates, and McKenzie walked by. So it's like they're there, and he was going, "What is that?"
The small baby hanging out there.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
funny. He's good. He's a good man too.
Yeah, very good. I think he's still working for Vegas. I'm not sure, but I think he was still scouting for Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, let's bring it back to Detroit now, because obviously it was a magical season in 2008 for Dallas and for his agent.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was. I mean, I guess putting it bluntly, I had a chance to play with some of those guys. I had a chance to play with them. You realize how hard it is to win, but then you realize after being around some of those guys why they won as much as they did. I mean, Nicholas Lidstrom, Datsuk, Zetterberg, they're like a lot of teams you play on when your best players they're good, they're great, but those guys were always our best players.
Yes.
All right. It was whether or not Datsuk got a goal and an assist, he was the best player on the ice because he was so good defensively. The things he did without the puck, and his work ethic was off the charts. I mean, the stuff he did off the ice, those guys blew me away how much they worked on.
Lidstrom could be the most underrated player. As great as he talk about him, he's even better. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt, he's one of the top two defensemen I've ever played with. But like he is just the things, he never got hit. And you always wonder why he never gets hit, because he just thinks way ahead of everybody. He was an amazing player. Great leader, quiet, never complained, played every game. So not many Europeans like that guy. He's a different mold.
Is he really the perfect human? I mean, that's kind of a heavy nickname to carry.
Yeah, he does. I've seen Nick get hit like once, and it was a little bit of a cheap shot. But yeah, he's the perfect human is the right word for him, because he's just the way he handles himself off the ice.
Yeah,
how he treats his teammates, and just how good a hockey player is. It's kind of scary how good he is. So he's definitely one of the top 5 or 6 defensemen to ever play the game.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Does he rank above you, Tom?
Slightly better than me. Yeah, a little bit better.
Different style.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys also had 3 great goalies on that team, too.
That's right. I was good.
Yeah, Dom, yeah.
That's right. Let me ask you about Mike Babcock. Remember we had a discussion when you wanted to go to Detroit. I said, "Did you want to go play for Babcock?" Right. And your comment to me was he just gets the most out of everybody. So that didn't bother his act. Just didn't bother.
Yeah, and I did. After I signed there, not long after I reached out, for those guys reached out to me, and I had questions, and a lot of them didn't love him. Put it that way, he wasn't loved, but he was a good coach. He knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? So, he treated me really, really well. I was a veteran. He left me alone. So I mean, some of the younger guys, I'm not gonna lie, he was hard on him, but the stuff that went on afterwards, I wasn't around for that, so I can't say any of that stuff happened when I was there, but. Whether or not it happened or not, it sounds like it did. But he he was a very smart-minded coach. He taught me a lot of things that I've never seen taught before, just on different defensive coverages that at the time I was like, well, that's different. That's stuff that I've heard of before. But he got the best out of his group, I'll tell you that. So,
and the stuff with Franzen, was Franzen there when you were there?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, but Mule was just kind of coming into what he was when I was there. The year I was there, I think he got 30 or something like that. And he was really good. And then it was kind of a 2 or 3 years after that when it really kind of had with that stuff going on.
So were you surprised when you heard all the stuff, or do you think it was going on before with Babcock?
Well, it wasn't going on when I was there. I didn't see any of that. And at the time, quite honestly, I don't think one of the players there, like some of the players that we had there, I think some guys would have exploded over some of the stuff. We had some characters there that would have said something, but I would have said something if I would have seen it. I know that, but I never saw that with Mule. And at the time he was, but then he got, what happened to Mule, he got into some concussion problems, and I don't know if Babs thought he was, milking it or not, but he obviously wasn't. He was going through some tough times there. I saw Mule a few years back, and he wasn't doing very well.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
yeah. He was really still struggling with all that stuff. So he's had some tough times lately.
They called him Mule. I forgot about that, right?
Yeah. He had the biggest head I've ever seen on a human being in my life. It was called Shrek. So it's funny. At the end of the year, he signed me a picture, and it was a picture of Shrek. And I love collecting stuff when I played. And the guy got this big picture of him with Shrek for me.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like Babcock would not do that stuff to Steve Eiserman, to Nick Lindstrom, all those guys.
Yeah. Babs knew who he could pick on and who couldn't. But we had a pretty veteran-based team there, so we didn't have many young guys, right? We had Darren Helm. We have, Little was a younger player. After that, we didn't have a lot of young guys.
You also had Nicholas Cronwall, who hit like a friggin' truck.
That's right.
Yeah. Our defense there was amazing. We had Nicholas Cronwall, Brad Stewart, Brian Rafalski, Nicholas Lindstrom. Then we had Lebda and Lilia were like 5 to 6 guys.
That's right.
We had Chelly, too. We had Chelly there. I forgot Chelly was there. Yeah. Our defense was it was crazy how good they were.
Yeah.
It was good luck for him.
Shelley's legendary for drinking his beer. Chris Shelley is too, isn't he?
Drinking and riding the bike in the sauna. And constant stuff like that. He's still in fantastic shape. But he's a workout freak.
We out in L.A., there's rich guys had a golf resort outside, like I think in can't remember where it was. So we would all start off players at the end of the year from the Kings was going. And then as guys got traded, they would have other teammates they'd bring them. So this golf event turned to like 50 people. And it's the first time I met Chelios was at this event. And he liked to have fun.
Chelly. Oh yeah. Chelly didn't miss too many of those fun parties. Yeah. He played hard on and off the ice.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Well, speaking of fun, he was buddies with Kid Rock. Did you get to know Kid Rock at all while you were there?
Yeah. It's funny you say that because he came into Chelly's bar one night and he had this big fur jacket on and it was a hoodie on and he's just this tiny little person.
Oh,
he's tiny.
Oh.
And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And it was like the bar, it was Chelly's bar. He had closed. We were sitting there having a couple of beers and he'd come in after hours. He had buddies with Chelly. I'm like, and his name's like Bobby or something like that. It's not like it's some weird name like that. I'm like, and he's just this tiny little guy, Kid Rock, but it was kind of neat to meet him. But yeah, it was incognito that night.
So you win the Stanley Cup. You get to go back home with the Stanley Cup for a day. You went back home to Roslyn, right?
Yeah. The Red Wings are awesome. They gave it to me twice that summer. They gave it me a couple of days, took it back home to my parents' farm in Roslyn and where I grew up. And then they gave it to me in Traverse City again a couple months later. And I did the same thing because they knew I was retiring, I guess. And it was awesome. So
that's going to be great, Eddie. You have a 16-year career and you win the Stanley Cup and now you're retired. Like I keep thinking about that. I think the perfect story.
Yeah. Yeah. I was done no more regardless, but yeah, what a way to end. You're right. Finishing the way I did and being able to share with my family and just, it was awesome. Yeah.
Didn't they have a big parade back home too?
Yeah. Well, Roslyn, there's nothing too big in Roslyn. There's only like 3,000 people live there, but there was quite a few people came out. It was good. I brought it down and people could come together, a picture with it. And Traverse City, I did a big deal like that. And it was kind of a fundraiser where I started a scholarship program up there for kids that play, and that money goes into that. I still give money to kids every year just because of that situation I had with the Cup. So it's pretty good.
And your wife's from Traverse City. Is that how you settled there?
Yeah, a little small town out there called from Leland. It's about 20 minutes outside of Traverse City. But yeah, she's from there. So we go back. We still have a place there. We go back in there in the summers and stuff.
Right. You got 4 kids now.
4 kids. Yeah. Yeah, they're all up and My daughter's engaged. My daughter's getting married in spring this year. Yeah, so we're doing it at our house, so that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
And were you both your daughters hockey players too?
No, just my one. My one played college hockey, and then my oldest boy played. And my middle third daughter, she's a diver at University of Omaha, Nebraska. So she dives there. Yeah, and then I got my youngest son at home. He's still here. So
good. And even your wife, she was a basketball player, right? In college?
She was at Northern. Yep. Yeah, she's one of the top scorers there of all time. She can shoot threes pretty well. So yeah, she still claims she can.
So Dallas, has everything all planned out. So he's this wild man in college and everything. So now he turns pro, gets his wife, gets everything all settled down.
Yeah. A couple crazy years earlier there, or in the beginning of my career.
Yeah. Detroit's a fun town too. Be a Red Wing playing in Detroit.
Yes. You're treated very well there. That's for sure.
Yeah. And we lost our good friend, Greg Johnson. How long was that?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago?
That's been a while back. Yeah. That was heartbreaking. Obviously good friends with Greg, roomed with Greg. You know, I know, his brother very well. He's doing very well in Vancouver. So, yeah, that was a tough time there. So,
I remember you called me. I was out in L.A., and I think Frosty had called you, right? With the rumor around that Greg lost his life. Yeah, I called. I said, there's just no way. And that's what I called. I called his phone, and then his wife picked up the phone right away. So.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you sometimes just don't know, right? So,
yeah. Well, it's, you know what it is? It's you got to live your life all out too, right? That just proves to you that you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'm glad you've done well. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for everything. I enjoyed every minute of it. I love talking to you, and good seeing your face. I haven't seen your face in a while, and thank you for everything you did for me as well. I owe a lot to you. So
now I'll give him one last story. So when I had hair, I tried to spike up my hair, and I had seen Dallas, and I think it went this way where I saw him. He didn't say anything at first, then he got on the phone later. He gets on, he goes, Q-tip. I go, what? What's Q-tip? He started calling me Q-tip. I think I shaved my head pretty quickly after that. You remember that story?
Oh, yeah. I always remember calling you that because you always brought it up too. So shit.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I died laughing. Just again, it was one of those things like he didn't say anything else. He goes, Q-tip.
Well, I tell people all the time, I appreciate everything you did for me because you were a straight shooter and you always played in the league and all that kind of stuff. But like anytime if I wanted to call him bitch, you'd always set me straight and tell me to freaking shut up and go play or something like those. You were good. You gave me straight. You told me the truth, and a lot of ages at that time didn't do that kind of shit. They do tell you exactly what you want to hear, and that's what you didn't do, and that's what I appreciated about you the most. So.
Well, I think it's because of who you were too. I don't think I could do that to everybody, but I knew that's what you needed, and you could handle it too. Like
yeah.
Great job. You had a fantastic career. And I do mean it. More than anybody else I think I've ever seen. You got more out of your career than anybody I know. So,
well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, buddy.
Please tell your wife, Amy, as well.
I will.
All right, brother.
Good talk.
Someday we'll get back up to Northern Michigan. I think they're planning on having a big reunion together.
A couple of years. You better be there for that.
Okay.
2 or 3 more years, you're in a big one. So you better
definitely.
Be there.
Yeah, he'll be there. That'll be the Laidlaw statue unveiling.
Yeah, statue of it. That's right. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, brother. Great to see you.
Seeing you, bud. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Tom, that was great. We had 2 Northern Michigan Wildcat legends on one show. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened before. Has it?
I don't think so, no. And he is a legend, too, man. Not just as a player. Obviously had a great career in the National Hockey League, won a Stanley Cup, Detroit Red Wings, and had a fantastic career at college. But the kind of person he is, too, like he's a father. He just has gotten more out of it. And it's kind of the way he lives his life. He's got more out of his life, out of his career than most people I see. He just went all out.
Yeah.
Did whatever he had to do to play in the National Hockey League.
Good deal. Hey, he's a lot of fun. Is your number retired at Northern Michigan?
They don't retire the numbers there. I'm in the Hall of Fame there, the Northern Michigan.
Okay. Is Dallas Drake in Hall of Fame too? I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is too. Yeah. Recently, my old buddy was coach up there. I played with him. Walt Kyle got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And told the story. I can remember the story, but so I was the 4-year captain there. Walt came in, had to sit out a year, transfer from Boston College, and great work ethic. So before he even played a game, they made him a captain as well. So the coach called him in his office and said, "Listen, there's no way look at this. This is Tom Laidlaw's team. He's the captain. But I want you to follow him around and protect Tom Laidlaw."
Oh, really?
I didn't know this until he's telling this induction speech. Kind of like take care of me because
you're breaking sticks over your head and you're,
So this was on a Wednesday, and then on a Friday night, we went into this local bar, and back then there was an Air Force base close by. So we get into this huge brawl with these Air Force guys.
Oh, boy.
Yes. And Walt stayed to be part of it. And so early Saturday morning, the coach had heard about this, and he called Walt, and he says, I just told you on Wednesday to take care of him.
2 days in?
Yeah, Walt goes, how do you say it? Listen, I followed him. I what did I do? I protected him, but there's nobody he's going to ever follow that guy. And he tells the story, and he tells the Dutch speech. He sent me a copy of it, and he says, anybody knows that guy? They'll know exactly what I'm telling. The whole crowd just broke up.
I was not going to listen. There's no containing this guy.
Oh God! But it's it's so funny years later to realize that that's the way people were looking at you. Yeah. But great to have Dally on. He's fantastic. Yeah. He told the story. I won't get it. He wants you to listen to the show. He tells a great story about when he was a free agent. We were signing with the St. Louis. Yep. It was a whole day long. He got a little emotional.
Well, let me ask you this: when you were his agent and you were in Northern Michigan recruiting him, were you like, hey, I got to keep an eye on this guy. I don't want him to go crazy here in the bar like you did 10 years ago?
You know what? Honestly, I didn't think that way until my sons went off to college, and I thought, if they do the things that I did in college,
right?
Man, it's going to be a long 4 years.
Did they?
The worst thing, my oldest son Shane's a fantastic student, real gentleman, but he had fun like everybody else, to drinking and partying and stuff. So they were drinking at their dorms one time, him and his buddies, and they went to get into a bar, and they wouldn't let him in because they were too drunk. So he tried to sneak in the back door, and he got caught by the cops. Now, at a place like Michigan State where he went, they can do a breathalyzer even if you're not driving. I think it's just a method to kind of scare the kids. So they put him in the backseat of the car. They really made a big deal about it. Put him in the backseat of the car, have him do the breathalyzer. And he's called me the next day and he's crying. He says, I've ruined my life. And I'm
right.
The thing is, that's the worst he's going to do. Like, it's a parking ticket, right?
So the scare tactic worked on him.
Yeah, he did. So I had to pretend that I was like the mad father, like, you won't ever act like that again, Meantime, I'm back laughing at myself. It's okay. This kid's going to be okay.
Wait, so he went to Northern Michigan also?
No, Michigan State. Sorry.
Oh, Michigan State. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he went to Michigan State because you guys were living in Michigan at the time, right?
No, we weren't. We're actually back here. We'd moved. Actually, Rick Conley, my old coach, was the hockey coach there. So he didn't change his grades. My son's grades were excellent, so he didn't have to pull some strings to get him in, just right to the top of the line. So he got in. He had the grades to get in. So I'll never forget his dying laugh because I'm thinking, this poor kid, he feels like he's screwed up his life. I did that every weekend. So
yeah, but you want them to. That's a tough love. You know?
Totally.
And hopefully it works. And where'd your other son go, Cody? Where'd he go?
He went to Pace University here locally.
Gotcha. Okay,
That's not. He was not a good student, and he acknowledged it. So he went for one semester. It was a total disaster, and he went to work and just.
And he's doing great.
Yeah, really, he's a self-taught guy, very intelligent. Yeah, that's the two different things. Like Shane really thinks that college was necessary for him, whereas Cody's done well without college, and
college is very overrated.
There it is, right?
In a lot of ways, it's a scam. It's really overrated. If you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, I get it. But like a liberal arts degree, like I have, I don't even know what kind of degree you have, like bowling or something. Well, they go. I mean, did you need it?
No. Yeah, I was a speech major. Ultimately, I was a business major. Yeah, and then we had this one teacher who was a big hockey fan, who taught speech classes, like the actual getting up, making presentations, and. Funny, they had one, back then, obviously, there was no computers or anything. So they had things where people would print out flyers, different jokes or funny things. So they had this flyer that it sent one day about the different personalities in the men's bathroom. Like one guy was really tough. He's banging his penis against the side of the urinal, this different kind of stuff. So I took that. I didn't prepare for my speech class. It was after practice. Went there, there's a bunch of adults in it and everything. So I made this speech of the personalities in the men's bathroom.
You just read it? Okay.
Yeah, well, I added to it a little bit,
Yeah.
And the teacher gave me a C. He says, I got an A for presentation and an F for preparation.
There you go. That's probably fair, right?
Yeah, that's fair. And I had fun. I was laughing and yucking it up. So, yeah.
That kind of sums up not your hockey life, but the rest of your life, though. Like, I'm going to just plow through. I'm going to do a good job, but I'm not going to prepare. I'm just going to go. So,
isn't it true? I'm so much better, too, when I don't think about things too much. Like, I think when I got into the agent business, if I really had, I was smart enough to know what I was doing. But if I was any smarter and analyzed it anymore, I wouldn't have done that. I would have scared myself to death. I would know.
Right. Analysis paralysis. Did you have somebody doing like your research, or like scouting for you guys? How did that work? Was there a team that helped you?
Well, I was lucky again. I just retired, right? So I knew a lot of people, a lot of scouts and coaches and that. So I was able to network pretty good about people say, okay, who should I recruit? Who are these top players coming up? So instantly it takes years for some people to build that up. For me, I had it instantly. So that really helped me a lot. Guys like Glenn Hanlon, I told the story. He was a scout with the Vancouver Canucks, and one of my best teammates ever. we got to get him on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we were out in Tacoma, I believe it was, and he had a goaltender that was drafted in the 9th round, Jason Fitzsimmons. He already had an agent, drafted already. So we're waiting outside the locker room after. Glenn, I didn't know he was going to do this. He introduced me to the young man, and he said, "Do you have an agent?" He says, "Yes, I have Art Breeze. Art was a really good guy too." And he said, "Well, this is your new agent, Tom Laidlaw." That's how I got my first client.
Mafia move right there. Thanks, Glenn Hanlon. Thanks for the tip right there.
Yeah, so here's the coach or the scout for the team that drafted you. You can't say no.
You go with this guy. Yeah, don't mess this up, kid. And that leads us to our guest, who was great today, and your client, excuse me, Dallas Drake did with the Northern Michigan connection obviously helped immensely because
definitely. Walt Kyle was actually up there coaching. There's three really good players. There's Jim Hiller, who's an assistant coach now, and I don't know where he is. I think
he played in the NHL.
Yeah, played a little bit. Yep, played in LA. Yep. So it was Dallas Drake, Jim Hiller, and Scott Beatty, the smaller guy. So Jim Hiller, Walt was good friends also with another agent long before I got in the agent business, Donnie Mean in Newport Sports.
Sure.
So he kind of, he spread it out. He gave me Dallas. Jim Hiller actually may have been a highly touted recruit or draft pick already. Bigger kid, good shot. I mean, not as good a skater as Dallas. So Jimmy Hiller went with Donnie Mean, and then I got Dallas Drake and Scott Beatty, I believe. Scott Beatty, I don't think anybody thought that Scott Beatty was going to play in the NHL. He's a smaller guy. Never forget, smoking cigarettes all the time, too.
Oh, Jesus. Why didn't you sign roller hockey legend Tony Szabo off that squad? Because I think he scored 40 goals that year. They won.
Yeah. I don't think everybody thought he was going to play in the National Hockey League at that time. Yeah.
A little smaller, a little slower. Yeah. I know he played in Europe a lot.
He was getting the big ears, too. Didn't he have big ears?
I don't recall. He's just a really good roller hockey player. Once put a puck through the boards at Chelsea Piers. That's a hard shot, really hard shot.
That's a good team. They won the national championship in 1990, I think.
91.
And
you know who they beat in triple overtime to win?
Boston University.
And whose star player was?
I don't know. Walt Cadell.
Tony Amonte.
Tony Monte. Oh, that's right.
He was the big stud on that team. And they took him in overtime. I think they scored like 12 seconds or real quick into the third overtime.
But I think with Dallas too, like he's really good friends with Keith Kachuk. So a lot of people at the time didn't like Walt. He was like I don't know, his personality, whatever people. And I said to Dallas at one time, I said, "You sure you want to be friends with him?" And he defended him. There was no hesitation. He didn't care what anybody else thought. He was loyal. That was his guy, and they've stayed friends to this.
All of it, yeah. He said that. He said how that's one of his best friends, and all of his teammates defend Keith Kachuk. Like, yeah, what a great guy. And they said nobody was better than him with people in the clubhouse, people on the team. Yeah. They said he took care of everybody. Yeah. So that's that Boston personality, you know.
He's allergic to those bee stings, though. Swollen.
Again, see, this is where the height bully and the size.
No, it's because
you head.
It's because you care about somebody. It's just not healthy for you to be like. It's not.
Well, Big Walt, if you're listening, Tom would love to work out with you. He gets up at 3:30 and goes to the gym at 4. It'll help out, and he'll get you on the right track.
Oh man, I made a dish the other day at my Sunday cooking show. I made pasta with salmon. It's a creamy pasta with some cheese in it, spinach, sun-dried tomatoes. Oh my Lord!
What a way to start the new year off. Especially with this episode with your former client and Stanley Cup champion, Dallas Drake.
The man that got the most out of his career. Right.
And if you like what you're hearing, please leave us a review, share the podcast, tell your friends, listen up, send us an email at fullchangepodcast@gmail.com. And, book Tom with that email as well.
We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll do some workouts, some cooking shows.
He'll hand out oversized checks to your organization if you need that. Give a speech.
Great job by Allie Gerlin, I believe it is, at Madison Square Garden.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah. Happy New Year. All right, Grasshoppers, thank you for listening. We had a fantastic show. We'll see you next time.